Yeah, so thanks Ross for letting us come in and have a chat to you about your journey through the quality projects. We've just got a couple of questions we want to ask about that journey. If you can just share some insights, that would be really good. We'll start off with just talking a little bit about the background of your company. So your business is a family-owned one. Can you give us a bit of background on how it started and what it was like in the early days?
Dad started in the 1970s. With just a handful of guys doing work for international trucks back then, making tank brackets. And he steadily grew that up to about 30 people, all metal tradesmen. But that was based in Dandenong and was more a press shop than CNC machining or anything like that, making mainly tank brackets just to hold the fuel tanks. I think was his main.
Okay. When did you officially step into this leadership role, or what would you call your position today in the company?
Okay, so I used to work there as a kid when I was 15 and hated it. Swore I'd never work there again. Then one Christmas back in 2000, myself and my brother quit our jobs to come work for Dad, and that was in Dandenong still, and he was still doing the similar sort of work that he'd been doing from the 70s. No sort of automation or anything like that. The first 4 years there was like doing an apprenticeship. I learnt to run the laser cutter and other bits of equipment. It wasn't really till we moved here to Carrum Downs in 2010-ish that Dad stepped away, and it was myself and my brother running the place. And I guess I'm the production manager.
If you wanted to put a title on it.
Yeah, if you wanted to put a title, where my brother's more of the office orientated side of the business.
And what kind of metal fabrication work was the business primarily focused on when you took over?
It was really sort of transport based, like a lot of stuff for trucks and buses.
Okay, yeah, that's good enough.
So, some train stuff, automotive, not aftermarket automotive.
And how would you categorise that?
We'd get sent drawings, we would make 20 or 50 of those and then ship them back out. We didn't have a finished product or anything like that.
All the drawings, were they good or?
No. No. Varied from hand sketches on a bit of paper to actual proper drawings.
Did you intentionally expand into quality projects, or was it driven by something else?
No, we never had a board meeting or anything like that to go that direction. I guess it's sort of chicken and egg. I don't know what came first. We started offering more because we could do, for the people that came in with hand sketches, we had to convert those drawings to put on our laser and whatnot. So we're offering sort of CAD services, which then became design services. People wanted us to come out and design stuff, guards and stuff like that for their equipment. And I don't know, that work was more interesting. We were naturally drawn to it. But then I guess the customers knew we were capable of doing that, so started offering us more work in.
You're clearly doing more advanced, high-spec work. What was the biggest driver behind making that shift?
I had a discussion with a friend complaining about the customers that took up all my time doing their drawings, and they were disorganised. And he worked at a big petrochemical company, and he was talking about how they every year got rid of the customers who weren't spending enough. But at the time, that was like, the customer only spends $2 million, they'll cut him, which I couldn't believe.
Yeah.
But he's going to encourage me to just go and get a list of your customers, order them by sales, and then get rid of the ones down the bottom. And I did that, and lo and behold, the ones that are taking up all my time were 1%. So you could have, like, the realisation you could afford to get rid of the people who are sucking up your time and spend that time on your bigger customers was a bit of a turning point.
And what changes in either equipment, process or training did you have to implement to be successful and take on that type of work?
Well, that was sort of where Open Welding helped us out.
Right.
Yeah, where Cummins got into a situation where their supplier said they weren't going to help them out anymore, and they knew we were capable of it, just not up to speed with the welding side of the job, and basically encouraged us to take on the work because they had no other choice. But we had to get up to speed with the SP side of the Australian standard welding.
And now that your focus has evolved, what kind of work are you doing today?
Definitely more sort of design, manufacture a part and deliver it, where before we were just giving them the drawings, but more complicated. We're not just making one part, we're making a whole sort of assembly. A lot of stuff hasn't changed because your quality system doesn't, you don't always need to be using that on, or they're not asking for it, but you don't need to be using it, but it's running in the background anyway. So some of them it made no difference to whatsoever, whereas others haven't asked for it and we're doing it anyway. It's not like ISO 9001 where you've got to do it for every single customer. You can, it's there.
Okay, and so has shifting to these quality, more sophisticated work, has that impacted on your profitability?
Yes, we've had the best 3 years in a row since I've been here, so that's over 25 years, and the last 3 have been by far the best, and I was trying to work out why, and that's because our welding rate used to be, so we've got a spreadsheet, we put all our costs in, and the rates we used to charge our welders out was fairly low, and the premium service was CNC machining, so he was on the highest rate, but now the welders are on the same rate as the CNC machining, so we value welding as much as the CNC machining, and we've got 3 welders and only 1 CNC machinist, so naturally we've sort of increased our revenue just by upskilling our welders.
And if there were other fabricators looking at this and considering a similar change, what advice would you give them based on your own experience?
If you've got welders, I'd go do a weld test. At least put all the procedures in place, have all the paperwork, get one of your welders to do a 6mm fillet weld test, and then when a customer does come in saying, are your welders qualified, you can go, we've done this, we can get them qualified for that, and you know what the cost is going to be, and you know how to do it, and they mightn't actually want you to be qualified. That was the other thing I was thinking about with qualification of the welders. So the CNC machinist doesn't need any qualifications, guy running the laser doesn't need any qualifications, press shop. No one else in the factory actually needs to show they're qualified to do stuff. So you might as well qualify the welders to at least have it there ready to go when somebody does ask, because they're always asking, are your welders qualified? We would have been lost without you. And then you took us from sort of GP level welding up to SP with training and whatnot of all the other guys. Make a call and...
Okay. All right, look, thanks very much for that, Ross, and we again appreciate your time and your insights. Thanks once again.